nothing like it. You can hear the roar of the motors. You'll feel the ground shake beneath your feet. It's what modifieds are all about.
Cars, roar to life, we're underway. So much on the line for this one today.
Trying to do the crossover.
Right to the bottom.
Nice move.
Angle again on the front stretch. Looks to the inside. Kobe throws the
Here
block.
comes Bonsignor.
He drives away. He will take the checkered flag. They are trying to make this track wide. To the tap to the bumper. Oh,
He's going to win one.
This is what it all comes down to.
Here they come at the stripe. It's going to be a drag race.
Down to the line. Tonight, the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour invades the Commonwealth of Virginia. It's the Virginia is for Racing Lovers 150 from Richmond Raceway. Good evening, everybody. My name is Joe Koss, alongside legendary commentator in the modified world, Ben Dodge. Ben, tonight, this is one of the biggest tracks, one of the fastest tracks that the Whelen Modified Tour will race on all season. And this particular race has a lot of interest because we're getting close to the end of the season. Points are a factor, and some of the championship contenders are fast here tonight.
They sure are. And of course, we're just beginning to get things pumped up. New Hampshire International will be another stop while the super speedway action goes into play. North Wilkesboro, remember the excitement, the intensity of that there. But today, a new day and a new deal, and we're ready for this one, and so isn't the field. They are pumped up and excited. Remember, it happened here, not last year, but the year before last. This is where Austin Beers kicked off his win story. Today, will he carry it forward? He's the point leader going in. Back then, he just wanted to win a race.
And he's been fast every time he's raced here. Let's take a look at this Richmond Raceway here in Richmond, Virginia. A D-shaped oval opened up in 1946, 3/4 of a mile, a very rough southern asphalt surface that'll chew tires up here tonight. That's going to be a factor as the race goes on. And 14-degree banking in the turns, that's going to plant these modifieds to the corners here at Richmond Raceway.
It certainly is. And then, of course, the race distance is 150 laps. Tire allotment, 2 tire changes per pit stop. Recent winners include last year's winner, Justin Bonsignor. He did it back in 2022. Austin Beers, 2023, and Ryan Preece, 2021.
Earlier today, Justin Bonsignor earned the pole. Let's catch up with him with our Matt Dillner.
Justin Bonsignor, his second pole award of the season. Hey, man, that was one hell of a lap there, that second lap, and especially after the first lap because it was a little dicey out of 2.
Yeah, had to actually roll out of the throttle. I thought the car would have a little more front turn there on the first lap and rush the throttle, and it was getting a little sketchy off it too. Had to back out of it, but they came over the radio and said you had a 61. I was like, oh, if I just have a good second lap here, it was going to be really good. So yeah, cool to get the pole here. Coastal Fiber on the car this weekend. Phoenix Communications, second company down here from Virginia. So cool to have them here tonight and representing them. So off to a good start. Hopefully the weather holds out tonight. Would love to get home to the wife and kids. But yeah, we got a really good car. It's a little early to start worrying about points, but I know Austin really wanted that bonus point for the pole, so we'll take that. We've not been as good as we'd like to have been the last probably 5 races, so hopefully tonight can get the things momentum rolling for the second half of the year, and you know, we'll battle Austin out.
Last year's dogfight for the finish. We talked about it before. Everybody still talks about that race. Record amount of lead changes. You know, explain to the fans on Flow Racing how wild a race at Richmond can get.
Yeah, it's definitely pretty intense, especially with the tire wear. You know, if we see a late caution, guys are going to come in. It's going to stay big, you know, grouped up a little bit. The draft does play a little bit of a role here. So those restarts get wild late in the race here. So you know, hopefully we can just stay up front, keep good track position, have good smooth pit stops. There's going to be probably 4 to 5 times down pit road tonight with the way the rules are between tires and fuel. So be exciting. Got to have a good smooth night, and you know, I think we got a good shot at coming home and win.
All right, Justin Bonsignor, he'll be the kingpin tonight. Starting from the pole for the Virginia is for Racing Lovers 150.
Well, thank you, Matt. Justin Bonsignor laid out the strategy here. A 2-time winner at Richmond Raceway in Whelen Modified Tour competition, and a driver that I think everybody is going to have their eye on tonight when the green flag goes. Field staged and ready. Getting set to go racing here tonight, the 12th race of the 2025 campaign for the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. Austin Beers with a slight point advantage, won here a couple of years ago, wants to do that again tonight. Let's go trackside for pre-race ceremonies.
Please rise as you're able. Remove your hats, and veterans render a hand salute as the Henrico County Public Safety Honor Guard presents our nation's colors. Here to offer tonight's invocation, please welcome Regional Vice President of Track Operations, Matt Brannick.
Pray with me. Almighty God, we fall before you with worship and gratitude for your faithfulness, love, grace, and mercy. And tonight, on the eve of night racing's return to Richmond Raceway, we ask that you would keep watch over our drivers, our teams, our officials, our staff, and our fans. Lord, we ask that you'd also provide a special hand of protection over our first responders and our military as they protect us living in the greatest nation on earth. And most of all, Lord, we thank you for providing eternal life and salvation through your Son, Jesus' name, and we ask it in that way. Amen.
Here to perform our national anthem, please welcome from the United States Air Force Heritage of America Band, Staff Sergeant Julie Mishler.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
An excellent rendition of the Star-Spangled Banner by Staff Sergeant Julia Mishler here tonight to kick things off at Richmond Raceway. When we come back, we will have the command of fire engines in the Virginias for Racing Lovers 150.
We couldn't do it without Whelen. I don't believe we've ever taken a product off that was broken. It was we put the car out of service.
What price do you put on a life? We don't want to run the risk of causing loss of life through our response.
Whelen sells peace of mind. Their goal is to get home each and every evening. And if we play a small part in ensuring they get home safely each day, it's extremely gratifying.
The stage is set for the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour to take on the Richmond Raceway here tonight, the 12th race of the 2025 NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour campaign. You know, all season long we have been celebrating the 40 great drivers in NASCAR Modified competition. One of them is a NASCAR Hall of Famer, Ray Hendricks. So important to the state of Virginia. This is his home state. Had over 700 wins in competition, not only in modifieds, but also in sportsmen. Is one of NASCAR's 75 greatest drivers and a 5-time track champion at South Boston. He has a logo. You see it in the top of your screen that's adorned on each and every one of these modifieds as they get ready to take on this event here tonight.
You know, and Joe, that logo was so important as he came from the South, raced in the North, and the history of his accomplishments tell the story. And, of course, that's not the only story. You can see everybody's getting ready in preparation for this event. It's an event that everybody talks about. It's not a simple race. There's a lot of strategy. But the 40 greatest drivers, Part 4, is just around the corner. And those drivers, of course, are legendary names like Bobby Santos III, Doug Heveron, the super modified star, Jamie Tomaino, Jim Spencer, John McKennedy, along with Matt Hirschman, Reggie Ruggiero, the Reg, and of course, Tony Hirschman, Satch Worley, and a guy who's competing here today, who's had success here, our own Ryan Preece.
Ryan Preece, one of 3 drivers in the field here tonight with Cup Series experience, along with Ryan Newman and Corey LaJoie. But Ryan Preece is one of the drivers in the field who has a win here at Richmond Raceway. Let's take a look back at his 2021 campaign in a part-time schedule in the Whelen Modified Tour.
Yeah, Silk making that car as wide as he can. That allows Preece to make a move on the outside, but Silk pushes up, and here comes Bonsignor down on the bottom. Preece runs to the bottom as well. At the line, it'll be Ryan Preece.
From 3rd to the win.
Ryan Preece looking for his first Stafford win off turn number 4. Checkered flag is out, and the fans are loving it. Ryan Preece will take down the win.
The driver from Berlin, Connecticut, the 2013 Tour champion, going back to victory lane tonight here in Richmond. And he has now won in his last 3 races on the Tour.
And, of course, there's the guy that everybody's watching for in today's event. The Mohawk Northeast Incorporated car qualified well among the top 3 positions here, but he's ready for a big day of competition here at Richmond. He's been here and accomplished a great deal. Look at the stats. He's 34 years of age. Hometown is Berlin, Connecticut. Full-time NASCAR Cup Series driver for JFK Racing. 1 modified Tour championship back in 2013, 26 modified Tour wins. Named one of the 40 top greatest drivers in modified racing.
One of the stories to watch will be Ryan Preece and how he navigates his way through this field in the Virginia is for Racing Lovers 150. Let's go trackside for the command.
Richmond Raceway, give a big NASCAR welcome to Peggy Dunwoody. By day, she is the Vice President of Creative Color, but tonight she is here to say those most famous words in motorsports. Take it away, Peggy.
Drivers, start your engines.
The Whelen Modified Tour come to life here at Richmond Raceway. The green flag right around the corner. Stick with us. We're about ready to turn them loose in Richmond. The sun setting over turn 4 here at Richmond Raceway as the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour for the 15th time in series history gets ready to take on this famed D-shaped 3/4 mile oval that is very, very fast and entertaining for modified competition. You take a look at what it's all about. Announced at the end of last year, the big money that's on the line in 2025.
The big money, the story is, of course, a total purse, $412,000 and growing, $82,400 to the overall champion, 41 plus, second place, and of course, $37,80 for the top 3.
Look at that, $412,000 on the line with Whelen and all the NASCAR partners that make this possible. Certainly a big purse on the line for the season, but the question is, who is going to be the driver that takes it home? At the top of the championship standings, it is a tight battle, and even 1 point closer now with Justin Bonsignore earning the pole position, getting that bonus point. Austin Beers has never been in this position this late in the season in his career. He leads the way, but Justin Bonsignore, this is a time when he gets hot in the second half of the season, but maybe none hotter than Patrick Emmerling, who comes off a win last time we raced at Thompson Speedway.
Sure has, and of course, Matt Hirschman in the 4th spot, but the story is quickly a look back at, of course, 2024. A lot of lead changes, and it came to the wire, and Justin Bonsignore was the guy that bested the field. Here comes Bonsignore, tries to make the slingshot to the inside. Bonsignore side by side with Ron Silk. They come off the turn down to the line. Bonsignore working his magic at the stripe. 1 lap to go.
They come together on the back straightaway. Silk battling to the outside. Bonsignore to the bottom. They'll come to the checkered flag this time. Out in front. Bonsignore noses out in front. But here comes Silk to the outside, and Bonsignore will win it.
The margin of victory was so close, it's almost unbelievable.
What a remarkable day it was a year ago with Justin Bonsignore and Ron Silk battling. It was his 2nd win at Richmond, and that was early in the season. That was in March when we ran that race, and it carried on through to his 4th series title.
It certainly has, and when you talk to the drivers, Austin Beers, you talk to Justin, they tell you just one thing. This is at the turning point of the season. If it hasn't happened by now, you have to make it happen, especially when you're running for a championship. You're looking at the Hoosier pole winner for today's event at Richmond. No surprises there, but look at the men that follow. Ryan Preece right there in that 2nd row.
As the field begins to roll off the pit lane, let's look at the other side of the story, though. Austin Beers came here a couple of years ago knowing that he was a contender in Whelen Modified Tour competition in the 64 car, and he scored his first ever career victory here at this racetrack, and it established him as a regular contender in modified racing, and he has lived up to the billing in the year since.
He certainly has. He's from Northampton, Pennsylvania, just 22 years of age. 4 career Whelen Modified Tour wins, including right here at Richmond. Finished inside of the top 10 in all 25 NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour races. His last victory came at Lancaster. And Joe, there's no question about it, all eyes in the pit area are on this young man because he is not just another driver, he is a contender and looking for a title. But more important, he come here to win.
He did. He told me earlier today that he's got one goal in mind. He's not changing anything what they've done all season long. That's to compete for the win, and they did a great job in qualifying earlier today. Speaking of qualifying, let's take a look at the starting lineup for tonight's Virginia is for Racing Lovers 150. Justin Bonsignore, his 35th career pole here tonight, earned that #1 starting position. Austin Beers to the outside lane. Ryan Preece, he's got plenty of wins in the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. Tonight makes his 175th career Modified Tour start. And Craig Lutz, the big winner from North Wilkesboro.
Certainly is. Let's go back to row number 3. Big winner in a very emotional victory at Thompson Speedway. Saw Patrick Emmerling. And of course, Matt Hirschman. He's been kind of sleeping in the background. Today, he'll pounce and come to life. Trevor Catalano also been there and done that. He will be starting in the 4th row with Ryan Newman.
Tyler Ripkema driving Old Blue will start inside row number 5. Tommy Catalano alongside. He won at Monadnock for his first career win earlier this season. Kyle Bonsignore, the White Mountain Motorsports Park winner, and Stephen Kopsick starting 12th.
Then we look at Carson Lofton, one of the Smart Tour drivers. Hasn't been around long, but he's already started to build a name. And, of course, Eric Goodale. He's had a roller coaster season. He'll make up the 7th row. Connor Jones will be in the Jamie Tomato 99, starting in row 8 with Luke Baldwin. He struggled recently. He'll be in row number 8 as well.
Row 9, John Michael Chenette on the inside lane. Two-time Southern Whelen Modified Tour champion Andy Seiss back in the field today. Danny Bone, he's a former champion of the Bowman Gray Stadium about a decade ago, and Andrew Krause, his family, that operates the Wall Stadium in New Jersey.
Let's take a look at row number 11, Ken Heggie. A surprise. Corey LaJoie did not have a good qualifying round in the 77. And then, of course, Mike Marshall and Tyler Berry will make up row number 12.
There's a starting lineup for tonight's event. When you go back and look at how far we have come this year, tonight the 12th different race, but we've had only 2 repeat winners all season long, and 9 different drivers have gone to victory lane. Parity has been the name of the game so far this season. I'm wondering whether or not we get a 10th different winner tonight, or do we see another repeat winner to shake things up in that championship point battle?
Well, it certainly is going to be put to the test, and this is one of the super speedway. It is one of the biggest racetracks that these cars will showcase themselves on. Obviously, to win at Richmond is something special, but today, with points on the line, the prestige, we've had new winners, we've had veterans, we've got Cup stars in the field. There's so many different individuals that could be a contender to secure the victory in today's event. You're looking at the field as they are behind the pace car, working the tires to keep them even, Joe. We are about ready to begin this, the big event. The Virginia is for racing lovers, 150 from Richmond.
It's a warm Thursday night here at Richmond Raceway. The track will be greasy and abrasive. Tires will be a big story today, and how you conserve it on the racetrack and make sure you've got enough to compete, along with the pit strategy and the crew chiefs on pit lane to match. We're about ready to get underway. 150 laps for the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour, and the 2 championship point leaders on the front row. Justin Bonsignor, the 51 of the inside line, will lead the field around to the green flag, and we are racing in Richmond.
The green flag is out. Bottom of turn number 1. It is already Bonsignor to take command. But what a surprise maybe to some, but not to us. Look what's happening. Already moving quickly into second. Priest has already made the move as Austin Beers settles back in. Top 4 cars, single file, then they're doubled up.
Here's Ryan Priest now looking to the inside on the opening circuit in turn 1 for the race lead over Justin Bonsignor. Move Ryan Priest to the lead. You look at this driver, he is in the middle of trying to make the championship playoffs in the NASCAR Cup Series, but he's racing back in his roots here tonight in the NASCAR Whelen Modifieds.
His passion is modified racing, he'll tell you, and his heart is still in New England. Up the track goes Priest. The door opens suddenly. Bonsignor. Lead change number 2 takes place. Justin Bonsignor back in command, and here comes Austin Beers, testing the waters a bit, and right there with him, always a contender, is Lutz with car 46.
Priest's car jumped loose at the exit of turn 2. He gathered it back in, and I think Austin Beers gave him a little bit of room to catch that race car, and then he fell back into the clutches of Craig Lutz in the 46, who won at North Wilkesboro earlier this year. Look at that outside lane roll, though. Up top, it's Patrick Emmerling making up ground.
Patrick Emmerling was so strong at Thompson Speedway with a car that was a tribute car to Jeff Bodine. Today, the old colors, the old deal, and car number 1 has moved into the 3rd spot. It is a 3-car bid for position number 3. Directly behind Lutz is Lutz, and then, of course, it looks like Catalano is moving in within striking distance.
Red car is Catalano. That's Tommy Catalano, the older of the 2 Catalano brothers in the field here today. His brother Trevor runs directly ahead of him, who came home in the top 5 here a year ago at this race. It's just his 2nd ever Whelen Modified Tour event, as he's racing side by side with Matt Hirschman. Hirschman will give way, and here comes Steven Kopchik looking inside.
Steven Kopchik has a yellow stripe on his back bumper, but he is far but a rookie in this division. He has already shown muscle and potential time and time again. He's up on the wheel. He'll race to the front of the field. He likes to run strong in the early laps. He's back in the 9th position. Meanwhile, Ripkema with car number 3 is running in his tire tracks. Remember the story from North Wilkesboro. These 2 are really front-running drivers that give it their all lap after lap.
And they may not be as close of friends as they once were after contact earlier in the the season, the 3 and the 21 of Steven Kopsik. We were looking at some of the practice times earlier in the day today, and Matt Hirschman did not show a tremendous amount of speed, but that tends to be Matt Hirschman's strategy. He goes when it counts. So far, he's riding comfortably in the 8th position, but having Hirschman inside the top 10 early may not be a good sign for everybody else.
You know, interestingly enough, Joe, on that last circuit going into the turn, watch. Now here comes Austin Beers. Dives to the inside. Priest drops back to the 3rd position. Beers is now gaining forward momentum. And now Patrick Emmerling is starting to work over Ryan Priest. Priest was much stronger just a few laps ago.
Austin Beers had high hopes for this race 1 year ago, but 13 laps in was involved in a hard crash going into turn number 3. Did not have the chance to showcase his skill, as here comes Craig Lutz working underneath, that's Patrick Emmerling, excuse me, working underneath Ryan Priest to be able to move into that 3rd spot. As we talk about Austin Beers, he didn't have a chance to showcase his speed here last year, much beyond 13 laps. I think they were looking for a little bit of redemption here tonight.
I think you're right about that. You know, it's kind of a Cinderella story, because when he won here at this racetrack, he was kind of an unknown. Today, Austin Beers is not only the top of the chart in the points, but he's got a trading card literally produced and named after him. He's a youngster with so much ability and so much talent. Murphy, the Irish Angel that owns this race car, he said, I'm going to stick with it, and he did for all of those years. Sly Staben, Ronnie Hewhouse, those guys never gave up, and this team is a factor in the title for 2025.
The 64 car and Mike Murphy and that entire group have been on the Whelen Modified Tour for over a decade, and they never had the right combination between crew and driver to make it all work. When Austin Beers got in this race car, it just gelled. And they've had some of the best modified racers behind the wheel of this race car, but for some reason they never got the results. Austin Beers was the first one to make it work, and now that team is a regular contender.
It certainly is. You know, there's things such as we refer to as chemistry. Sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. And that was really literally the case with car number 64. But meanwhile, look a little bit further back and you will see that Patrick Emmerling is back in the 3rd position. Priest's car is not as strong as it was. The times are going down. As you watch the Priest machine, Lutz is now in the top 5. Trevor Catalano is in the 6th spot. Then Tommy Catalano, his brother in that red 54, is up to position number 7, followed by Hirschman, Kopsik, and of course Tyler Ripkema back to the front of the field. It's a little cat-mouse action, but there's no question about it. The Phoenix Communication Machine, car 51, is looking to be a repeat winner, but there's a long way to go, Joe, and more lead changes just around the corner.
You can see it on the racetrack that Austin Beers is far faster than Justin Bonsignor. Last time through, he was 0.2 of a second faster. This time, though, Justin Bonsignor has gotten a lot more aggressive with his lap time in the 22.1 second range. He does not want to give up track position to Austin Beers with the playoffs or the championship chase being as tight as it is.
You know, going into the turn, you'll see that Beers can reel back on him out of the 51 car. Then all of a sudden you'll see coming off the turn, and it appears the 51 of Bonsignor gains a tiny bit. These two cars are pretty evenly matched at 2 different perspectives of this very fast and D-shaped oval.
You heard Justin Bonsignor in our pre-race show talking about the fact that the team really hasn't had the speed as of late as they are used to. This is typically in the season when the tracks fall into Bonsignor's wheelhouse. Here comes Austin Beers now looking to the inside lane and for the race lead. He's going to get the job done off turn number 2, but Bonsignor with the crossover move looking inside on the back straightaway.
He'll make the move to the bottom of the racetrack. They are side by side, evenly matched. It didn't take long. Car 51 moved to the front of the class, but as they come back to the stripe, it is still a side-by-side bid. Inch by inch, it is Bonsignor back in control. Austin Beers tries to line up with the back bumper, make the move on the bottom lane.
Beers looking inside into turn number 3. Bonsignor slides down underneath to take the lane away from Austin Beers. Tell him it doesn't matter early on in the race. We are just a handful of laps in. 19 laps complete. They are racing as if the checkered flag were in sight.
two of the fiercest competitors. The veteran versus the young lion, lap after lap. That time, Beers' car loosened up coming off the turn. All of a sudden, he's back in line in formation, but that works to the advantage of Justin Bonsignore.
Bonsignore able to open up 1-2 car lengths as he continues to lead the way. We were talking a moment ago about how he gets hot in the second half of the season. A lot of that has to do with the schedule. These are racetracks that he's been good at. Tracks like here at Richmond Raceway, two-time winner, Thompson Speedway toward the end of the season, Martinsville Speedway, and his home track at Riverhead Raceway. This is when Justin Bonsignore knows he can reel in on a championship, and Austin Beers knows that too, because those straight racetracks have not been his strength, and he knows tonight is when he needs to pounce in Richmond, because this is the opportunity for him to distance himself in this championship battle.
It certainly is. And speaking of a guy that comes on in the second half of the season, look to the right of your screen. In the shadows, you will see the one car of Patrick Emmerling. Emmerling is slowly but surely gaining ground. He will be the third car in contention for the #1 position in just a few laps. Patrick Emmerling got off to a tough start this season. Well, a great start initially, Joe, and then it went sour. Then it came back to life. Now it's back in. It looks like he too wants a piece of the action and position #1.
Yeah, while the other two in front of him continue to battle for this race lead, Emmerling is closing in. Lap times about half a second slower than they were when this battle first started. Tire wear just 23 laps in, starting to become a factor, and now a 3-car battle for the race lead here, just 24 laps in when they cross the line.
You know, not only is it a 3-car battle, Preece is there too. All of a sudden, bid for the lead. Austin Beers testing the waters again. On entry, goes to the bottom of the racetrack, makes it look easy. Here comes Bonsignore. This time, will he try to make it work to the bottom? He's almost there. He tries to take it back. This time, Beers is loose a bit as he comes back off the turn.
But Bonsignore could not keep the nose straight there, and he had to surrender that race lead. Austin Beers to the point now, a car length ahead of Justin Bonsignore. Patrick Emmerling, though, starting to close in. You mentioned how he became a factor at the end of last season. He's doing the exact same thing. Midsummer, he wasn't even a factor, but as the season rolled on and we got towards the last couple of races, all of a sudden Emmerling had a ton of momentum, and it looks like he's following that same pattern straight off that win at Thompson a couple of weeks ago.
You know, he's another one of those drivers, Joe, that has a great deal of experience running on super speedways. He's driven at all levels of NASCAR racing. But right now, look out, we've got a caution. We've got a car around, and that will be the first caution of the event. And it appears to be the number 54 car, the USNE Power Machine. A tough break for car number 54, and that, of course, is Tommy Catalano. Secured a big, impressive victory at Monadnock Speedway. It was a squeaker that came right down to the checker, and, of course, today off to, well, a tough start here as well. So first caution comes out, and it is car number 54, the USNE Power Machine. Looks like a minor spin. We're not sure what the situation was, but we can see now that the safety services crew are there to check on that situation as well. So, leaders of the event, there's no question about it. Early leader of the event has been Justin Bonsignore. Preece had it for a very short live. And then, of course, Austin Beers is there now. But he go back to the lap leader score. It is, as we said, 2 times Justin Bonsignore has been in command of this event. Beers has worked his way up and taken the lead most recently as the Whelen lights are on. First name in light sirens and safety services used throughout the world. Whelen Engineering, American made and proud of it.
First caution of the night out here in the Virginia is for Racing Lovers 150. It was for Tommy Catalano, who got out of shape off turn number 4, and he's finally getting a little bit of help from one of the track services vehicles to get him rolling once again. Still looking for a push to see if he can get that 54 refired. It was a couple of years ago, back in 2022, when Tommy Catalano led this race late in the going, and at the very end he got gobbled up by Justin Bonsignore, who had fresher tires. Meanwhile, though, pit road is open, and it looks like we're going to have some takers. Ben, the strategy here, you've got to get at least some fuel tonight. That'll probably be the first stop, but you can only take fuel or tires on a pit stop, and when you come down pit road for tires, you can take 2 per pit stop. So likely to see multiple pit stops under this caution cycle.
Remember, it's 10 total tires, and of course 6 for the pits. 4 were on the cars on the initial start. You're looking at the 64 of Austin Beers.
They made an adjustment there on the shock on the right front. Austin Beers with fuel. He will race his way off of pit lane. There's Corey LaJoie in the 77. Big adjustment on the Tyler Berry car. But round 1 of the pit stops, it's going to be Austin Beers who wins the race off of pit road. There is a 21 of Steven Kopsick nearly outside of his box there on pit lane.
Yeah, he looked like they perhaps struggled just a bit. They will make it back out, though, but he lost several positions on the racetrack as well. So everybody heading back off from pit road. You know, we talked about strategy, and we went back and was talking about earlier the situation at Thompson. Matt Hirschman was one of those drivers who made a strategic move. We said we weren't going to give away that move this early in the race and tell everybody about it, but he did something a little different, and we're wondering if it's going to come into play today.
We'll see what happens. Cars coming back down the pit lane again. I noticed a couple of drivers stayed out on the racetrack. That'll be a story in and of itself, but more cars coming in for service here on the next round of pit stops as they continue to cycle on through and see if they can get their tires. And among them, one of them, Ryan Preece, right rear tire being done for that number 40 car as he heads back out onto the racetrack. And right rears here at Richmond are a factor, and the reason why is especially off turn number 2, where you go from that 14-degree to banking to that straight hard corner. It's a lot sharper because of the way the D-shaped oval is. You tend to lean on that right rear, and we saw Ryan Preece backpedal a little bit. That car wasn't gripping the racetrack as good as I think he liked it in the early stages.
You're so right about that. Carson Lofton's car is stopped on pit road. We're not sure what that situation is. Apparently cannot get it fired up, maybe. The Catalano car is finally getting pushed in to its pit stall, or they're trying to get it to its pit stall. But 2 of those competitors with the problem, but Lofton, bad luck. Well, it kind of continues here. Southern Racing in the Smart Series, he is one of the standout drivers, and they have some very competitive racing action there as well. Looks like we've only got about 4, maybe 5 takers in this second round.
Lofton, just 17 years old, running the Cars Tour this year as well on his schedule, has been a factor there as he gets a push off of pit lane. So a tough break for Carson Lofton here on this round of pit stops. There is Craig Lutz trying to get around Lofton as he exits the pit lane. But certainly a chain of events that Carson Lofton's going to have to dig himself out of here in the early stages.
Certainly is, and that car just doesn't seem to want to fire. But speaking of firing, everybody seems to be back in formation, and it looks like we should be getting ready to get things fired back up again. Most of the field were the takers in the caution. No surprises there. A couple of individuals pitted out of sync. When we talked to competitors earlier today, they said it is essential to pit with the front pack of cars. I think we just witnessed that, Joe.
Yeah, everybody came down pit lane for the most part, as Danny Bone looks like he's going to get the wave around and rejoin here at the tail end of the field. And through that cycle of pit stops, it ended up just about the way they came down pit road. Austin Beers will be the race leader along with Patrick Emmerling. Now, Beers can choose the inside lane, but everybody else, if you're odd numbers, you're inside. If
That's
you're
right.
even numbers, you're outside. So there's no choose rule per se in the Whelen Modified Tour as the field lines up here on the back straightaway. Now, the 48 car, Danny Bone, will assume the race lead. Austin Beers on the outside, and the reason for that, Danny Bone did not come down pit lane under that round of caution stops.
Well, that is the situation there, but we're looking at row number 1, and from our vantage point, it looks like Preece is on the inside of the front row, or correction of that. Here we go, about ready to get it fired back up, and we are up to speed.
Green flag out, and Danny Bone, the Bowman Gray champion from 2014, leads this pack of Whelen Modified Tour drivers into turn number 2. Austin Beers trying to go to the outside lane, but Bone on the bottom, holding tight in a battle for the race lead.
Does a great job of setting the pace and holding it tight. Meanwhile, coming off the turn, good battle still shaping up there. That time, Patrick Emmerling crossing over, moving to the outside. Here comes Justin Bonsignor. Bone is stuck in the inside lane, side by side and wheel to wheel wheel for second. It is Bonsignor. Back up to the number 2 spot. Bone is stuck in the bottom lane.
And everybody's going to freight train him around the outside. Patrick Emmerling there. Kyle Bonsignor is there. They're going to continue to work the outside lane around Danny Bone. Here's Trevor Catalano in the black and white number 56 trying to move inside the top 5 here as he lokes to the outside of Danny Bone off turn 2 right behind Kyle Bonsignor.
Meanwhile, look at that yellow car. That is Ryan Newman. Newman has worked his way to move into the top 8. So Newman is moving forward. He started the event in 8th. He is there, but now he is in the outside lane getting hooked up. Meanwhile, Kyle Bonsignor, winner earlier this season, trying to hold off the opposition. Here comes the 56 of Trevor Catalano. Bold move to the bottom of the racetrack.
Looking inside for the 4th spot underneath Kyle Bonsignor, and Ryan Newman will try to follow on through. Newman, one of the 3 drivers in the field with Cup Series experience, and is a Cup Series winner here at Richmond back in 2003.
You've got a 6-car pack, and all of a sudden moving to try to challenge. It is Ryan Newman. He went from the outside to the inside, right there in the tire tracks, and now the inside lane is moving forward. All of a sudden, car number 88 has also surfaced, or the 99 rather, of Connor Jones.
Connor Jones joining the modified tour here tonight. Great to have a young talent step into the program here. His second opportunity at running the series, but his first start here today in Richmond.
He's working some magic there, but Ryan Newman seems to be the guy that is literally all over the car in front of him, which is part of the Catalano team. Car number 56 working its magic for Trevor Catalano. Started in the 7th position. Now he tucks out of line to the inside of Patrick Emmerling. Emmerling shuts the door. Newman is there. 3 cars contending for that position.
Trevor Catalano is so good at this racetrack. He impressed us all a year ago with a 3rd place finish. Now he's looking to the inside of a driver who's a championship contender to take over 3rd and continue to move forward. Trevor Catalano and Richmond Raceway, they just go together.
Sure do. And of course, Newman is really showing that he is hungry to work some magic and get to the front of this field in today's event. There's Newman with a crossover. Yellow 4 car. Patrick Emmerling's car is backing up. It is hard to believe he was so strong before they pitted. Now he's struggling a bit as Emmerling continues to try to hold on. Trevor Catalano is up to 3rd. Newman is now in the top 5, now going for 4th.
That 4 car, Ryan Newman, very, very quick at this stage in the race. He's running lap times that are faster than the top 3 in front of them of Austin Beers, Justin Bonsignor, and Trevor Catalano as he settles into the 4th spot. Connor Jones up into 5th, and Jamie Tomatoes, number 99. Jamie, one of the 40th greatest drivers in NASCAR, was on hand here tonight. Took a photo with all the drivers and owners that are part of that group today as we look at the 56 of Trevor Catalano move into the 2nd spot. That car a rocket ship right now as Bonsignor now settles back into 3rd.
Hard to believe, but that car is going forward. It is currently the quickest car in the racetrack. Bonsignor tries to stay with him, but Ryan Newman is gaining in leaps and bounds. He is closing up the gap. Newman had a tough run. He said every time he's run this race car, he's had a fast race car, but he hasn't had any luck. Today, maybe Lady Luck is on the side of the number 4, that yellow machine.
The 2 fastest cars in the racetrack, the 56 of Trevor Catalano, Ryan Newman, Connor Jones, and they are all moving forward. Here you see behind the Newman getting by Justin Bonsignor, Craig Lutz is on the move. He looks inside of turn 1, trying to get 1 if not 2, but he gets into the back of Justin Bonsignor. Bonsignor gathers it back in, and Craig Lutz continues digging to the inside.
That's a real wheelman and a true champion. He continues to work his magic. Right there is Lutz now, trying it again on the inside. Lutz makes the move to the bottom. Here comes, right there with him, is the number 99 machine. Connor Jones tries to stay with the big dog, and he does. Now Connor Jones sets his next target just in front of him.
Connor Jones, new to modified fans here in the Whelen Modified Tour, came up through Legends, raced at Hickory Motor Speedway, Caraway. came through the ARCA program, has a couple of Craftsman Truck Series starts to his credit, and he is a talent. He said before the race today, the biggest difference in racing a modified versus some full-bodied cars is how the steering rack feels, but he has gotten used to that feel. He has certainly adapted quickly. He's looking good here as we approach the 1/3 mark of the race.
You know, this racetrack we know has been kind to rookie drivers. We've seen that happen in other years. But today, it will be a strong run for another individual, and that's Trevor Catalano. He has been so strong at this racetrack. He moved to the front of the field. He started 7th on the grid, and he is, of course, one of very few leaders so far. But the guy to watch, I think, all of a sudden becomes Ryan Newman. Newman in the 3rd position with the Tim Conley-owned number 4 car.
Newman is on the move. We said at the start of this that this was going to be a competitive race. Last year we set a record of 20 for lead changes. So far tonight we have seen 5 different leaders, more lead changes than the 5 leaders we've had on track, and it has been entertaining. Here is Newman diving inside lane in turn 1 for second.
Certainly does. He makes the move, and all of a sudden, working his way back, Beers was there. It is gone. Now Newman continues to reel in on the back bumper of Trevor Catalano. Here's another move to the inside. Lutz goes down low, picks up the spot, and that, of course, shuffles things a bit as Beers drops back to position 4, and Jones is right there in 5.
The cars that were fast before the pit stop beginning to struggle. You saw Austin Beers get loose off turn 2. Here is Ryan Newman charging since we came under the green flag with those tires and adjustment. He has picked up 10 positions. He rides 2nd, and he is on the hunt trying to track down Trevor Catalano.
He's doing a good job. He got a lot of speed. He is right there, and Lutz is a gentleman that wants to stay with him. Every move offers a counter move. Trevor Catalano is out in front, but the heat is starting to come on, and they are getting closer and closer. They come up on lap traffic, but Trevor Catalano still is the current leader.
4 races this season are companion races to the NASCAR Cup Series. The last time we did it was an All-Star Sunday, and that was when the 46 car of Craig Lutz went to victory lane at North Wilkesboro. He's 3rd right now, and he's on the hunt. Since that win, they have not had the momentum and the speed they wanted, but tonight they've got it back again. He challenges for 2nd underneath Ryan Newman.
There's no question. Lutz is right there trying to give it his all. Forced to back out of it just a bit. Good racing wherever you looked in this one, but the big story seems to be the story between Newman and that 4 car. Off the turn, Lutz got a little bit loose that time. Upon entry, he's going to make the move.
Inside lane to that 14-degree banking off turn number 4. Can't make it work that time for Craig Lutz, but he will continue to apply the pressure to Ryan Newman as they dive back into turn 1, but Newman's not going to give him a lot of room to work off the exit of the turn.
The Riverhead Building Supply machine giving it its all with Lutz to the inside. They're side by side and wheel to wheel. Here comes Lutz. He made the move, completed the mission. Once Lutz got there, he's starting to pull away. Lutz has now become one of the quickest cars on the racetrack. Newman is not far behind.
Look at the leader, though. Trevor Catalano has opened it up to a 1.2 second advantage, one of the largest leads that we have seen in a very entertaining race tonight here at Richmond Raceway. There is the battle for 2nd, Craig Lutz and Ryan Newman, but the car running there in 4th continues to impress. He continues to lay down fast lap times, and that is Connor Jones. He is starting to move in within striking distance.
You know, Jamie Tomato and his son, they've worked so hard over the years. They've had so many different drivers behind the wheel of their race car, but today this could be a big one. 40th, of course, being a part of the 40th group is an honor all by itself. But if that car could make it to the front and be the winner today, it would be a great win in the historic Tomato family over the years. Meanwhile, good racing continues to be Trevor Catalano with that lead, still maintaining consistent laps, 1.206. There he is, the leader of the pack. The USNE power machine is powering its way out front.
So smooth, so calculated. His 2nd season in the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. Already a winner last year in his rookie campaign when he won at the Monadnock Speedway. He's a driver that has impressed so many. The Catalano boys, it's a whole family of boys that go racing. men, really, at this point in time.
Yes, they are.
Based out in Western New York, and they have certainly established themselves as regular contenders in these races.
Certainly have. You know, we're looking at the top 5, and behind Jones, there is another individual that has worked his way to the front of the field. He started 16th, and that, of course, is Luke Baldwin. Luke Baldwin had a tough go of it at Thompson Speedway. Met with misfortune, hit at a ton, but Baldwin is now in the 5th spot. And believe it or not, this gentleman started back in 22nd, and that, of course, is Corey LaJoie. Joe, he's in the top 6. Kopsick is up to 7. Beers is back in 8th.
This race looks very different than it did a handful of laps ago. Kyle Bonsignore restarted 3rd. He's back to 17th. You look at Justin Bonsignore. He's back to 9th. Emmerling back to 10th. And who was the race leader for a while, Austin Beers, sitting there in 8th. So different with the dynamics. Luke Baldwin has been on the move. He's now up to 5th, as you mentioned, 6 seconds behind the race leader. But this car is flying, and this is his first race here. Doug Coby raced this race 1 year ago in the 70.
You know, there is so much history that surrounds the Baldwin family. Sawyer, the gentleman that was the instrumental in running this operation, was close friends with Tommy Baldwin Sr. Tommy Baldwin Jr. was a part of those race days and the success here at this racetrack. This, too, is a very important track for the Baldwin family. LaJoie coming forward. The Putney race car has definitely come to life. He's in the top 6. And look out, because he is all of a sudden reeling in on the back bumper of Luke Baldwin.
That's a 77 for Corey LaJoie, starting to close the gap and see if he can move into the top 5. An impressive drive from LaJoie to go from the back of the pack. Not strong in practice. He wasn't strong in qualifying, but now in race trim, get under the lights here in Richmond, and that 77 car has come to life. The dynamic has changed, but Ben, remind everybody, 85 laps to go, likely an opportunity for another pit stop if there's a caution, and we saw how much the first caution changed the dynamic of the race. It completely inverted the field, and there's no stage breaks to invert it. It's just been flat out performance and strategy, and Corey LaJoie and Luke Baldwin are some of the drivers that have taken advantage of that.
They certainly have. Corey LaJoie is glued to the back bumper of Luke Baldwin. Now remember, Baldwin has had some experience running in the trucks. He's been there on super speedways, but look at LaJoie running in the tire tracks. He continues to put that Putnam race car to the back bumper of the number 7 New York of Luke Baldwin. On entry, it appears that the 77 car is quicker, but on exit, the Baldwin machine has a slight advantage.
Like Curb Records continue their sponsorship support of this 77 car, and they decided that Corey LaJoie was a driver they were going to put behind the wheel. Right now, looks like a really good choice here, just outside the top 5, battling with Luke Baldwin, who's had a fantastic campaign in 2025 as well.
We should also point out that Matt Hirschman has moved into the top 10 behind Justin Bonsignore in the 9th position. Priest is now out of the top 10. He has drifted back to the 12th spot. He's not done yet. Emmerling is in the 11th position. Heggie is in the 13th position. So a real shuffle of the cards here. And of course, we've seen some surprise changes in this event.
You see several of the cars well off the pace. Tires wearing thin here on this abrasive surface. Cars starting to back up. You saw Eric Goodale on the screen there. The 58 car goes a lap down. 14 cars remain on the lead lap. Danny Bone, who was leading when we got the green flag after that first caution, will be the next car to go a lap down, and that's going to happen pretty quick here. He's within sight of the race leader, Trevor Catalano.
He certainly is, and of course, he's had tremendous success this season at Bowman Gray, competing there. Been to victory lane and done that. He's a standout that cut his teeth back at the old Wall Stadium Speedway as well. We're still looking up front. There's your leader, and he is out in front, and the margin is now 1.530. So believe it or not, Trevor Catalano is really starting to build a commanding lead over Craig Lutz. Newman has settled back into 3rd, and LaJoie is coming. A guy that has passed more cars in this field than anyone else with car 77. Still remaining, leader of the pack, Trevor Catalano, coming up on lap traffic here as he works his way back towards the front of the field and down the back straightaway. Looks like it is the Bone machine, and there you're looking at Newman's car back in the 3rd position. all by himself. Huge gap, Joe. You can see it to the left of your screen upon entry.
And he can't duplicate the lap times that are being laid down by the race leader, Trevor Catalano. He's in the 23-second bracket. Trevor Catalano, really one of two drivers, he and Craig Lutz, that are in the 22-second bracket. That just shows you how good he is out in front of this field. The gap you see here, 1.6 seconds back to Craig Lutz, another 2.6 seconds back to third and Ryan Newman. Now they're in the middle of working lap traffic as this goes by as well. Here they go by the 48 car of Danny Bone, who was leading not too long ago.
Certainly was. How quickly it all changed, and Lutz continues to try to reel in the second spot. Then there's a huge gap. Look for that yellow car. You're looking at the Lutz Riverhead Building Supply number 46 car. But then, not even in the same zone, it appears, it is Newman. Halfway down and halfway to go.
75 up on the big board here at Richmond Raceway, and this one has that long run feel to it with Trevor Catalano marching away. But Newman has got some lap traffic he's got to work through. Danny Bone directly ahead of him, as Bone still running in the 13th spot. But 12 cars at this point remain on the lead lap, as Trevor Catalano putting on an absolute clinic here. So far, he has now led 29 laps in the race, the most of anybody on the track so far tonight.
You know, we also should point out that Steven Kopsik has worked his way with that 21 machine, the Warnock construction car, into the top 6. Matt Hirschman, silent, slowly moving to the front. He is 7th. Austin Beers is in the 8th spot. Justin Bonsignore is back in 9th, and Patrick Emmerling has worked his way back into the top 10.
Car's really starting to come to Matt Hirschman when he's gained those positions. He was 10th not too long ago, but his lap times maintaining consistency, and he is starting to plot a plan forward, but he is so far behind the race leader with 17 seconds behind. He's got a lot of ground to make up over Trevor Catalano.
Certainly does. He is making it up, but it is a slow process as laps continue to tick away in this event. With 72 laps remaining in the competition, Trevor Catalano, some might think of him as a surprise. Others know what this kid has done, and he's been so consistent and strong at this racetrack before in the past. Today, this could be another day for celebration with the Catalano family. Big celebration in Buffalo, New York, if he can pull this off.
We're still a long way from the finish, though. We just passed the halfway point, and his brother was in a similar position here a couple of years ago when he was going for his first career win. Now, Trevor would be his first win of the season, but he was leading late like this, 33 laps led in the second half of the race. There's a long way to go here at Richmond.
Now here he comes up on the 1 car of Patrick Emmerling. Emmerling goes to the high side as Trevor Catalano trying to get by him. Emmerling's not going to give up without a fight. He doesn't want to be put back literally back a lap, Joe. As also Bonsignore is there, and look at Trevor Catalano make a move on Bonsignore. He'll move to the inside, and his next target becomes Austin Beers.
This is critical for how the race plays out, because now that Justin Bonsignore is a lap down with Austin Beers about ready to go a lap down, these are all drivers that if the caution flag comes out, they will not be able to get by Trevor Catalano through a cycle of pit stops, because they'll have to come down and get tires. Trevor Catalano is making it easier and easier for him to protect the opportunity to go and win here today by how aggressive he is being with 67 laps down, and he just put the championship point leaders Austin Beers and Justin Bonsignore a lap down with still 67 laps to go.
Certainly has, and of course you look at the top 5, still remains the same. Lutz is back in 2nd, Newman still in 3rd, Baldwin in the 4th spot, and LaJoie still holding on to 5th. 6th through 10th, a whole different story. You've got some of the biggest names in modified racing setting back there. 6th is Kopsik, 7th is Hirschman, 8th is Beers, 9th is Bonsignore, and Patrick Emmerling rounding out our top 10 competitors.
Matt Hirschman only 3 seconds away from Trevor Catalano and going a lap down as he rides in the 7th position. Look how smooth Trevor Catalano has been getting into the corner. He runs right down to the bottom of the racetrack. He's not working his race car. He's smooth on the steering wheel, and this car literally on cruise control for the 56 here tonight. It is dialed in.
It certainly is. And no matter where you look, what turn, where you are in the racetrack, this car is, as you called it, smooth as glass. Nobody has been able to run up with this car at this point. Now Kyle Bonsignore about to go down a lap as the 56 continues to be the driving force and the dominant car up front. He now moves in to contend with the number 3 car of Tyler Ripkema. Ripkema is back in the 15th position.
It's a long time since we have seen a driver in the Whelen Modified Tour put on a clinic like this, especially on this stage, a companion weekend to the NASCAR Cup Series. He is not putting these drivers down a lap for the first time. These are big-time players in modified racing that he has just lapped a second time since we went back under the green flag.
It certainly has. It's really an amazing run for such a young and talented driver. This family, all of the family members, have truly come into their own in 2025. Lutz is still back in second. The margin is getting bigger, 1.886 between first and second. The car that is the quicker of the group seems to be Baldwin's car. All of a sudden, that car has come back to life, but LaJoie is still in the 4th spot. Now Kopsick just changes all of that. He moves into the top 5, and of course, here comes Hirschman up to the top 6.
Now you get a look at Ryan Newman here running in the 3rd spot. Corey LaJoie is 4th. Stephen Kopsick is there inside the top 5 as they battle for position here. Here's a couple of cars just trying to make up for lost ground. Meanwhile, trouble. It is Patrick Emmerling. It has gone around, and he makes gentle contact with the outside safer barrier midway down the back straightaway. The 2nd caution of the night. And for Austin Beers, the most timely caution you could have,
yes,
because I do believe he was the first car 1 lap down, and we'll let NASCAR go ahead and call out the official. But Austin Beers looks to be the lucky dog here with this caution coming out.
Certainly does appear to be that way. That's all unofficial. Patrick Emmerling, who was so strong before he pitted under the first caution, and then after that, the car was not the same. He drifted back, he was still struggling, and then we saw the end results. Back end snapped around on the automobile to bring out caution number 2. Why is this caution so important and so cruel? Look at the 1 car there. Wow, close one. Now he's up to the top side of the racetrack. Watch how close the other cars were, and they just missed him. Now had to change lanes, and that was the 77 car, it looked like, Joe.
And it looked like Patrick Emmerling just lost it all on his own at the exit of turn 2. There wasn't anybody around him when he went spinning. He overcorrected a little bit, and that's when it looped around. It's easy to overcorrect in these modifieds with those big 15-inch tires. So let's set the stage for where we are here. We are 91 laps into the event. Trevor Catalano on fire here today. The top 5, Craig Lutz, Ryan Newman, Corey LaJoie, Stephen Kopsick, Matt Hirschman, and Austin Beers, who will get the lucky dog and get the wave around under this caution, which is good in one way, but he needs another caution to be able to benefit from that, and we'll see if that plays out. Now here's the trick. All these drivers, with the way these tires were giving up, if you are a Justin Bonsignore who's a lap down and pinned a lap down, Ken Hagee, Ryan Preece, Patrick Emmerling, you've got to come down and get tires.
You sure do. There's no other option. You have to make the transition and the move in order to do it, and that is what we are about to see in a moment here or so. Justin Bonsignore was running back in the 8th spot. Hagee was up to 9th, and Preece was struggling in 10th, just in front of Patrick Emmerling. Here they come, Joe. And this is going to be a crucial pit stop because we are now at that point in the race where tires become a big factor here.
Now, it will be a quickie caution, meaning everybody will be able to come down pit lane, lap down cars and lead lap cars, but the battle for the race lead off of pit lane will come down to Catalano, Lutz, Newman, Hirschman, LaJoie and Kopsick among those. Let's look at the stop here for Trevor Catalano. It's going to be 2 rear tires for the Catalano number 56. They've had a great day on the racetrack. Can they have a smooth round of pit stops here on pit lane? Trouble, though, on the right rear bend. Problems for the race leader over on the right rear, and they're going to the toolbox to see exactly what they can do to fix this situation.
Tough situation. This could be the deciding factor that cost them the most. Apparently, there's a problem with getting the right rear back on or off the car. Car 56, the leader of the event, now has down off the jack They were able to get out, but they lost a lot of track position there.
The question is, did they actually change that right rear tire or put the same one back on just to get him back onto the racetrack? Now, this is not catastrophic yet for Trevor Catalano with only 6 cars on the lead lap. He will still be inside the top 6 as long as they can get this car repaired, get the tires that they need. They were going to have to come down pit road anyway, Ben, for another round of tires.
Yes.
We'll see how this plays out. Here he comes back down into pit lane, but you got to watch that commitment cone here at Richmond. That got Patrick Emmerling not too long ago, and he's able to get underneath that orange box.
Certainly is. Now he's coming back down. Hopefully this time we can see, we'll be perhaps on the right side and see if there's where the problem and the situation took place. He's about ready to enter his pit stall there.
And not a lot of lost ground, right? Everybody else is on pit lane, so they're going to come around, and it looks like maybe only a 2-tire stop here for Trevor Catalano, which makes me think the first time they came in, it was a 4-tire stop. They will take rear tires. They finally get that lug nut off the right rear. Now the question is, are the threads damaged on the studs, and is it going to go on nice and easy?
You know, that's exactly what we're looking at right now. The gun is there, down and off. Apparently it's good. As Trevor Catalano, they had a problem getting the other tire off, and unfortunately they came back in, got this tire back on, and hopefully they've been able to seal the deal there and come back out.
Now, I don't think Trevor Catalano is going to be in all that bad a shape, because when we go back into the green flag, he's going to restart in the 6th position ahead of Austin Beers. Now, one thing to note, though, if they took 4 tires the last time through, then they had 4 good solid tires that helped them on corner entry on the front tires. Now he's got rear tires. That will help him, Ben, on corner exit. But is that where he's going to make the ground here in the final 50 laps of this one?
You know, he had such a good race car for that long period and that long run. Will it hold? Will it stick? Or will the change in the adjustment make a difference? Remember what happened to Patrick Emmerling on the last time that we had the first round of pit stops as well. So again, the field readjustment of the starting lineup, and Joe, we're looking for that Trevor Catalano machine, which will be back in the 6th spot, back down on pit road again. We're
Nothing
not sure
to lose
what this
here.
is about.
Nothing to lose here, and well, that answers our question.
Yep.
They did take 3 tires last time, so they're going to take the right front tire. So I think Trevor Catalano is going to have all the good Hoosier tires that he's going to need to work his way through the field. He'll need a good restart if he can go up there and track down the race leaders. Ryan Newman, the race leader. Craig Lutz will sit second. Matt Hirschman, Corey LaJoie, and Trevor Catalano will be the top 5 when we get back under the green flag. We knew you had to execute with perfection. You had to be flawless. Trevor Catalano, a little bit of a trouble on the pit lane, but the team calm, cool, and collected. He knows he's got the best car on the racetrack. Will it be best from the 5th spot?
Big question there, but from what we've seen already, it appears that he will be in good shape, hopefully. Still some action going on pit road, but most of the heavy hitters have made it back out. You're looking at the 40 greatest drivers. Tim Conley is not only smiling in that photo, he's smiling about Ryan Newman and that operation as well. A lot of other smiles there, including this group of the Final 4.
A 9-time winner as a driver, Tim Conley in that yellow shirt. Right now, the driver he is tabbed out front, Ryan Newman in that famed Mystic Missile V4. Eric Goodale next to him. Jamie Tomeno, owner of Connor Jones race car.
Ryan Preece, of course, we know the story there. Matt Hirschman. Hirschman has moved into the top 3. Last time he was at this racetrack, believe it or not, with car number 60 in 2023, and he finished a disappointing 18th.
Joey Denowitz of NASCAR, Justin Bonsignor there as well, Patrick Emmerling, and NASCAR Vice Chairman Mike Helton joining us here tonight in Richmond to be able to celebrate the 40 drivers that really have made their mark on the history of NASCAR here in the 40th season of the Modified Tour.
Certainly has, and of course we are still under yellow, and we're about ready to get this all straightened out and go back to green here and so forth with it. Look at the number of laps left. Laps completed, we have completed 98. We have 52 laps to go. Now, it doesn't seem like a lot, but let's reverse this. What about Trevor Catalano? How many laps did he actually lead? Round numbers.
46.
Yes. So look at that number, 52, 46. If you're a betting man.
Yeah, he's been dominant here today.
Yes.
But let's look at where this is going to play out moving forward. Right now, you've got Austin Beers, who is running in the 6th position, is going to get the wave around, but he did not come down pit road and get tires because he can't get the wave around otherwise, right?
That's correct.
Now, everybody else from Justin Bonsignore, 7th on back, they did come down pit lane and got their tires. However, they are a lap down. The best scenario for them is get a quick caution so that way they can get back on the lead lap and take the wave around. Who that's going to hurt? Austin Beers, because he's going to need to come down pit road and get that tire. So this could have a huge impact on the championship battle, but it's all going to depend if there's a caution, when that caution comes out, and how it plays out. There you see Justin Bonsignore lining up to the outside of row number 3, but he is a lap down from the race leader, riding in 7th.
There you're looking at the number 60 car, Matt Hirschman, that has worked its way into the top 3. And then to the outside, of course, Corey LaJoie in the Putnam number 77 car. So that's row number 2. Let's go back and take a look at row number 3. And of course, Trevor Catalano and the number 51 machine of Justin Bonsignore. We'll be firing them back up, it looks like, with about 50 circuits to go, Joe. Trevor Catalano.
Trouble. Ryan Newman into the outside wall on the restart, and the caution flag will quickly come back out, but Newman, heavy damage to the front of the V4.
Heartbreaking situation that happened coming off the turn. The Bass Pro machine literally snapped around. We hope we get a look at the replay of that situation, but you're looking at the damage of that car as the right front is peeled back. It could have been a lot worse than that. The front chrome horn pushed back as well. Here's what happened initially on the start, Joe. It was a close one. It appears, watch this, slowed it down just a bit. Newman is there. LaJoie goes off from LaJoie's bumper. Newman goes around, and the end results is a situation. Ryan Newman's tough luck continues here as he had a very solid run with that race car here at Richmond.
Corey LaJoie went, Ryan Newman did not, and that's the result. Ryan Newman taking the gloves off, going to climb out of that Mystic Missile. There you see the 77, and a good close look at the chrome horn that's painted blue on the 77 tonight, and the contact that was made when they got back under the green flag. This, however, will change a lot. For one, I believe Justin Bonsignore is the lucky dog. So that's the first thing. For Austin Beers, well, now his story has changed. He can come down pit road, but there's a lot more than that. We'll come back with more in the finish from Richmond Raceway. The Virginia is for racing lovers, 150 for the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. Back here at Richmond Raceway, a dejected Ryan Newman crashed out of the lead on a restart, surveys the damage of his number 4 modified, and he is none too pleased because he had a great race car tonight, was in position in the final third of this race to be able to possibly challenge for the win.
You know, there's no question that car was among the quickest cars earlier today through the, well, the first quarter of the event. It came to life. But now, a whole different ball game. Free pass recipient is going to be Justin Bonsignore. Justin Bonsignore was shown back in the 7th position. And now that's going to change things a little bit. He's also in contention to get to the front. And what about Patrick Emmerling? Remember, he spun, and he was the guy that brought out that caution, Joe.
Yeah, and he's leading among the cars that came a lap down at the moment for Patrick Emmerling, so he'll fall back in line a little further back in circuit. But Austin Beers now has been able to get his service, and he's got all the tires that he needs to go to the finish. So now he can be a factor, and it's pretty much on level playing field. So this series of cautions will help keep those championship contenders alive. For Justin Bonsignore in the 51, he's going to have some work to do, though, because he's going to have to come through the back of the pack to charge forward, even though he's back on the lead lap. What would help him is one more caution that would allow the opportunity to move forward here and get back up with those race leaders. So step one for Bonsignore, he's got that. Now it's a matter of what it looks like next year.
Certainly is. And of course, we are still waiting to make sure that the field is back in its correct order. We believe that possibly that the lucky dog might have been, and we're not sure, we're looking at it right now in timing and scoring. We believed it was unofficially the 51, but it might be the one of Patrick Emmerling.
And it is NASCAR Race Control taking a look at everything now, and it is going to be the one for Patrick Emmerling, and we just got through all those dynamics of how that changes a race for Justin Bonsignore, but now it has changed opposite his favor, but to the favor of Patrick Emmerling. And let's talk through what this looks like. We are at a NASCAR Cup Series track. However, the NASCAR Whelen Modifieds use the start-finish line as the scoring loop, and that is how they do it for all the races around the circuit, because most short tracks that you race at
have that
one
as
scoring loop.
Yes, the common denominator is the start-finish line, and it is the scoring loop that is located at all of the racetracks at that location. Patrick Emmerling is the free pass recipient, and see how quickly this all can change. You talk about the different ingredients, the different elements of this particular race. Emmerling brought out the last caution. It was a minor spin. Now he finds himself, because of circumstances, now he has become back on the lead lap in the competition here. So we are still single file formation. You know, Matt Hirschman, Joe and I was talking with Matt Hirschman about the situation and his pit strategy back at the Thompson Speedway in the last event. And he did something a little bit different, Joe. We can talk about it now because we're about at that window. And that, of course, was simply the fact that he did not change specific tires in the same way that everybody else did. He turned around and made his own formula of getting the tires that he needed to give him the freshest tires at the end of the event. We haven't even been watching his pit stops, so we're not sure what's happening there.
A wild way this is all played out. And in the middle of all this, Craig Lutz, the race leader. Patrick Emmerling, as they get the one-to-go signal, will get the wave around. You've got Craig Lutz out in front, Matt Hirschman second. Trevor Catalano is going to move up a couple of rows here. He'll move into that third spot. Then you've got the 77 of Corey LaJoie and Austin Beers, the top five. Justin Bonsignore still to the outside of that row, but he, again, still a lap down. So 6 cars on the lead lap, and they are all chasing Craig Lutz.
And then you go back to the 7th row. It is Eric Goodale. Ryan Preece is there. In the 8th row, it is Steven Kopczyk and the Bone Machine, along with Heggie and Ripkema to round out the top 10.
Buckle up, tighten those seat belts. It is time to go. The crowd assembled here at Richmond Raceway on their feet as we get ready to turn them loose one more time. They'll see 42 laps to go when the green flag comes out. Craig Lutz, the big winner at North Wilkesboro earlier this season, alongside big money Matt Hirschman, who wants to cash in here tonight in Richmond.
Well, he tried to give it his all, but all of a sudden, making the move to the front of the class, it is car 51 that's making its presence known, stuck in the middle pack of cars, but Austin Beers found an opening and found a hole to get towards the front of this field.
Austin Beers had short run speed under the first 2 stints of this race, the first green flag and then after the caution, and he wants more now. He challenges for the race lead. Your championship point leader back out in front in Richmond.
And who's there with him? Here comes Trevor Catalano. Mr. Smooth has moved in to the second spot, but not yet. He is still side by side with Lutz. Behind them, it is Corey LaJoie. Hirschman stuck in the outside groove. Here comes Trevor Catalano. He'll move into second.
The cream has risen to the top. Trevor Catalano wasting no time getting by Craig Lutz. Beers a bit more efficient on the start. Now the fastest cars of the night going to go toe-to-toe for the race win here tonight with 40 laps to go. Trevor Catalano has got the rod and reel out, and he's trying to track down Austin Beers.
Nobody is getting out of sight of anyone in this race. The top 5 make it top 10 position. They're nose to tail. Car pulls out of line, moves to the inside. Side-by-side battle down underneath the LaJoie car. That, of course, is, well, another close battle there, but let's go back up front.
Then you've got the 51 of Justin Bonsignor, who runs 7th on the racetrack, 1 lap down, but 4th in line. He wants to go up there and unlap himself naturally in case there is a caution, because he doesn't want to have to rely on that free pass and then not be able to come down pit road. He's got his own agenda. He's on the back bumper of Craig Lutz. This position could matter if he can get back ahead of Austin Beers.
He's giving it his all. Meanwhile, Lutz continues to guard the spot. Lutz holds on to the 3rd position. Trevor Catalano is there. Here's Lutz dipping on the line. Bottom shot move. Here's Bonsignor. He's going to try to get into the thick of things.
Bonsignor in the tire tracks for now will look high to see if he can bypass the 3rd place machine of Craig Lutz. Bonsignor a lap down, but working the top side of turn 4.
Continue to work side by side. Bonsignor has Lutz this time going into the turn. Justin Bonsignor has moved position-wise into the 3rd position. He is the 3rd car. However, remember the story of this event. Justin Bonsignor is still trying to make up that lap.
Trevor Catalano does not want to have to contend with Justin Bonsignor, but I do think that you get about 5 or 6 laps into this run, and that Catalano car is going to come to life. I think you're going to see that car gain what he did earlier on that long run speed. Bonsignor, though, he's got his own interests in mind. He's on the tire tracks to the rear bumper now, looking inside.
Certainly has. He is right there and continuing to work over. Meanwhile, who steps out of line? Besides Bonsignor, right there with him. Another bold move to the inside. Good racing action there. Coming back to the front of this field. We've got a couple of surprises still left in store.
Working down into turn number 3, you see the Connor Jones, number 99 there on the bottom lane of the racetrack. Ryan Priest there in the 40 car. The gold and black to the outside lane is going to go ahead and get by Trevor Catalano as well. They are on a different strategy, and all these cars a lap down from Justin Bonsignor, Priest on back. They've got better tires at the moment, but they still have some work to do if they want to be able to rally back here in the late going.
Certainly do, and Lutz is continuing to try to do everything to hold off the opposition currently of course, Trevor Catalano. But the leader of the pack still remains the Beers number 64 car, setting a blistering pace out front. Now, all of a sudden, we are looking a little bit further behind them in the top 5. Priest is trying to make up that lap. He too has come a long way to get back in contention here.
There's always something to race for, and if you can get inside the top 10 back on the lead lap, then that could create opportunity for you. How about Patrick Emerling? He just got the free pass. That car is moving. He's up to 4th, 2.5 seconds behind the race leader. So an interesting dynamic, a mix of lap cars with fresh tires, race leaders in the middle of this, and Austin Beers out in front trying to hang on to see if he can fend off some of the best in the business. Here comes Justin Bonsignor, though, closing in on Austin Beers, trying to unlap himself. Behind them, Ryan Priest. He moves ahead of Craig Lutz, and he tries to do the same and track down the top 2.
That's the story pretty much wherever you look in this one. Bonsignor is still all over Austin Beers' machine. There is Lutz. He is now working heavily right there with Patrick Emerling. Those two are the story. Remember, we've got 6 cars on the lead lap. Lutz dips out of line. All of a sudden, Priest is working his way back forward, and he is getting quicker. It's short-lived as Lutz comes back to life and takes back the position on the racetrack.
So that long run speed for Craig Lutz starting to come to life. I thought that Trevor Catalano was going to have more speed than he does right now, but he has slid back to the 3rd spot. Now he's trying to regain it, and I think he does have a little bit better speed at this point in the run, but he's lost a lot of ground on the racetrack with 28 laps to go, and now he's got to deal with some of these faster cars, such as Ryan Preece, that are not on the same lap, which creates an interesting dynamic. Beers out in front, trying to keep Justin Bonsignore at bay, and he has, for the time being. 3 car lengths separate those 2 cars in a critical battle when you look at the big picture in the championship with Justin Bonsignore a lap down.
Certainly is, and that's what this is all about. It's more important to win, you might think, for some, but not these two. They're looking at the points in the big picture. Justin Bonsignore running 7th, 1 lap down. He continues to try to be able to get around Austin Beers. That could be the move of the event that will determine the outcome and maybe even a champion as the battle of the points continues between these 2 talents.
And although they may not be racing for the win right this moment, Austin Beers recognizes the importance of this moment. Last time we raced at Thompson Speedway, Austin Beers had a really good race car. Justin Bonsignore did not. But at the end of the race, it was Austin Beers just 1 position ahead of Justin Bonsignore. And I think when you look back at the end of the season, you're going to say that was a missed opportunity for Austin Beers to put 5 or 6 points on Justin Bonsignore at one of his best tracks. Tonight, he does not want that to happen again. He's got to keep Justin Bonsignore behind him and any chance of him gaining more positions by getting back on the lead lap.
And remember, when Bonsignore sat on the pole in this event, he said, that gives me 1 point. 1 point is a stepping stone to get to that final run and the final race of the year and the title shot at Martinsville.
Bonsignore sitting there, closing in. They've both led laps today. If Austin Beers leads the rest of the way, he will lead the most laps on the day today, along with the victory, and started in the 2nd spot. Can he hold on for his 2nd win of the season, his 2nd win here at Richmond Raceway? Bonsignore is going to try to make it hard on him, and that, even though Bonsignore has been putting the heat on, Craig Lutz behind them is just a tick faster than Austin Beers, and he is starting to reel in the race leader ever so slightly.
Certainly is. That's really become the story. And then all of a sudden, we see that Trevor Catalano, he has settled in a bit, but he's also gaining some speed and momentum. We talked about that and thought it would happen. Matt Hirschman struggles just a bit as Hirschman is back in the 6th position. Hirschman, of course, is the last car on the lead lap. Justin Bonsignore. Now look at Patrick Emerling diving to the inside of Ryan Preece. Emerling makes it look so easy. Patrick Emerling now moves, picks up a spot. Not really, because remember that Preece is not on the lead lap.
Patrick Emerling is running lap times that are faster than the race leaders. Look at the lap times. Austin Beers at 22.4. Craig Lutz at 22.3. Emerling, while passing Ryan Preece, a 22.4, and he is closing in. But the one you've got to keep an eye on is Lutz, because Lutz is really starting to reel in the race leader. He knocked another 1/10 of a second off the advantage held by Austin Beers. That car with plenty of time to get to the race lead. Craig Lutz and Emerling could be factors by the time the checkered flag flies.
They certainly are. Lutz is a rocket, and he is again getting quicker and quicker each and every circuit. You look at the last shot, you see the 64 leading, you see Bonsignore 1 lap down, and look at Lutz.
Here comes Lutz, and if you're Justin Bonsignore, you're probably not going to hold him up too much, because you want Craig Lutz to go out there and win this race. You want him to take that point away from Austin Beers and not allow him to get the victory tonight. We'll see what happens. 17 laps to go when they come across the line, this time by Austin Beers, trying to hold on for the win.
It still appears that Lutz is getting just as quick, if not quicker. He continues to close the gap. You're right about the points, Joe. It means a lot in the championship quest. Lutz is coming, showing it's no fluke at all that 2025, he is a big factor. And here at Richmond, he has been one of the quickest cars.
He's got the time to get there. It all depends on how much of a fight Justin Bonsignore gives him. He's only 2 car lengths behind. Bonsignore, he may not have as much to race for at this point in time, because it's been a challenge for him to unlap himself on the racetrack. Craig Lutz is there. We'll see how much of a fight Justin Bonsignore puts up being 1 lap down.
There's no question. There's less than 15 circuits to go in this event. Lutz literally slides off the back bumper of Bonsignore in second. Here comes Lutz now. He'll go to the outside. Bonsignore is pulling off the strategy that we were talking about. He let Lutz go, or visually it looked like he did.
Let him go on the back straightaway. Bonsignore, 4-time champion for a reason, looking big picture. Every point matters. If Lutz goes up there and wins this race, that takes a huge advantage away from Austin Beers, and Beers knows that. He's been informed that by his crew and the spotter. Now he's going to try to run away and hide, but Craig Lutz clearly the faster car on the racetrack over Austin Beers, and he has time to track down the race leader.
Certainly does. He is actually getting closer and quicker. Meanwhile, the margin between first and second, well, it's changing a bit, Joe, and it is .731, but it's not over with yet. Less than 13 circuits to go.
What a display tonight for the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour on this Thursday night at the Richmond Raceway. We've seen a little bit of everything, some strategy, side-by-side racing, excellent competition throughout the entire event, and Austin Beers trying to hold on to see if he can score his second of the season, but quickly closing in is a 46 of Craig Lutz.
That last time Lutz's car got a little loose, he was able to gather it back. He is on the throttle. He is doing everything he can to reel in on Austin Beers. The big question, will time run out? Beers has driven a flawless race so far. Great strategy. Less than 11 to go. Lutz is coming.
This is going to be a 2-horse race to the finish. Patrick Emmerling, his forward progress is stalled out. It's going to come down to Austin Beers and Craig Lutz should we stay green. 10 laps to go when they come across the D-shaped start-finish line here at Richmond. You can see it now, 5 car lengths between the race leaders.
And that 5 car lengths has now become 4. It is now almost 3. It is Lutz coming. He is not about to give up. Beers giving it his all. It's a matter of 2. 2 horses still in the race, and only 1 will get to the finish line first.
Craig Lutz having one of his best seasons of his career in the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. Won the big event at North Wilkesboro Speedway on All-Star Weekend for the NASCAR Series. Rode the elevator to victory lane. Now he wants more on the other big stage here at Richmond Raceway, and he is there putting the pressure on the back of Austin Beers.
He has narrowed it down. It is less than a car. He's all over the back bumper of Beers. So close, within striking distance. Looks to the bottom of the racetrack. Here comes Craig Lutz. He's moved to the inside. Beers digs in hard in the outside lane.
Advantage, Austin Beers, wheel to wheel for the race lead as they roll down the back straightaway. Inside lane for Craig Lutz. Nerf bar to nerf bar, but Beers holds on tight to the top side.
Lutz continues to dig and dig hard. He goes up the hill just a bit. Beers is still there on the outside. Lutz finally has the lead, but Beers isn't done yet.
Big opportunity here for Austin Beers to try to make the crossover move, but he could not get the car to turn off the corner, and Craig Lutz is free and clear with the race lead.
As they come around again, here they come. Beers still all over the back bumper. Lutz still in command. Back end drifts out just a bit. They cross the stripe. 6 laps to go.
It's Craig Lutz who takes over the race lead in the final few stages here tonight in Richmond, and he's going to try to run away and hide from Austin Beers, who is still right there within 2 car lengths.
Continuing to work his magic. Beers is giving it his all, trying everything. Emmerling is still back in the 3rd position, but Lutz is the guy that became dominant, reeled him in, took the lead, and now Austin Beers still trying to close up that gap in the final 5.
While they battled, Patrick Emmerling has cut a half a second, if not more, off the advantage for the race leaders, but I think time might run out on this one for Emmerling to become a factor, but he is closed in now within frame, and still the lap car of Justin Bonsignore between the 2 of them. Bonsignore's strategy to let Craig Lutz go without much of a fight may help him in the end, and Austin Beers could see an opportunity here to get this win slip away as they'll look to come to 3 laps to go.
Less than 3 circuits to go, and it'll still remain Lutz in charge. Beers is still there, trying to get back into the hunt. The crew guys all pumped up and ready, watching all of this to the right of their screen. And Lutz continues to be the driving force out front as Beers continues to hold on. Emmerling trying to close in less than 3.
The nerves of having an opportunity to win on this stage. This is one of the premier facilities at the modified race at all season long. This means a lot to guys that will go to work tomorrow morning at their local jobs. They're not professional racers. They're regular guys that you live next door to on your main street back at home, and they've got an opportunity to win on the biggest stage here at Richmond Raceway.
They sure do. The NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour is alive and well. Lutz is still in command of the event. So many lead changes, so much talent, so many side stories. But there's one circuit left, and Craig Lutz is the man out front.
Craig Lutz guides that car off turn number 2. Clear racetrack ahead of him as he hits the back straightaway here for the final time. Winner earlier this year on the big stage in North Wilkesboro. Today, he's going to do it again here at Richmond Raceway off turn number 4. The checkered flag in sight. And Craig Lutz has won for the second time this season.
He'll take down the victory. Austin Beers will finish in second. Eric's son and Patrick Emeling will round out the top 3. Trevor Catalano to finish in 4th. LaJoy will finish in the top 5. Then, of course, Matt Hirschman is 6th, Justin Bonsignor is 7th, Ryan Preece is 8th, Eric Goodale is 9th, and Steven Kopczyk will finish in 10th.
What a drive by the driver of car number 46, Craig Lutz, out of Miller Place, New York, down on Long Island, a hotbed of modified racing there at the Riverhead Raceway. It takes that Riverhead Building Supply number 46 to victory lane for the second time here this season. Started in the 4th position, and he had to work for it here tonight to win this event here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. It is going to be Team 46 and the Goody Motorsports team that continue their strong season.
And strong it is, as he is about ready to get that checkered flag, and he really did an amazing job closing up the gap. Great run for Austin Beers. It'll help him in the points. Patrick Emeling back in the 3rd position. Good comeback for him as well.
Emerling did a really nice job at salvaging the day there, because he got into that spin there off turn 2, brought out the caution that certainly changed the dynamic of how this whole race would play out. But what a race it was as Craig Lutz climbs from his race car here along the front straightaway. Will capture that checkered flag in front of the fans here tonight in Richmond. We saw a little bit of everything tonight.
Yes, you were right.
We knew it was going to be entertaining. We knew it was going to have a lot of different strategies with the way the tires would wear at this abrasive racetrack. And this one has to be one of the best races we have seen. We thought last year was good, Ben, with that photo finish at the end.
This one was just as good, with a whole bunch of different elements. And we saw it right from the start. Bonsignor was strong, starting in the front row. Beers was amazing. Emerling spun, came back after the spin to finish among the podium cars as well. And what about Trevor Catalano? But when the deal was closed, second win of 2025, Craig Lutz with the Sunoco checkers in the Riverhead Building Supply machine. He likes the big stage and the big arenas.
So far on companion weekends in 2025, he is 2 for 2, and that means we'll have to keep an eye on him when we go to New Hampshire Motor Speedway a little on down the road here in the month of September, and Martinsville Speedway to wrap up the 2025 season. Impressive drive for him. It'll be the 6th career victory for Craig Lutz. First here at Richmond Raceway, he has won the Virginia is for Racing Lovers 150. There, the hardware awaits him in a very much deserved victory lap here at this racetrack. Craig Lutz, a soft-spoken individual, quiet. Yes. He lets his performance on the racetrack do the talking, and it has spoken volumes here tonight with the way he drove.
Certainly has, and he'll be heading into victory lane. Patrick Emeling coming over there to congratulate him on the impressive victory as Lutz goes to the winner's circle. And what a race it was. There's no question or doubt in anybody's mind that we're watching this event, that this was truly one of the great modified races of 2025.
Spent a lot of time today talking about the championship point battle and Austin Beers and Justin Bonsignor, but Craig Lutz came in 5th. And there are several drivers inside the top 5 that are still in contention, as we now have only a handful of races left to go in the season. Off to Oswego Speedway here on Labor Day weekend before we head out to Riverhead Raceway, New Hampshire Motor Speedway, Thompson, and Martinsville for the final 5 races of the season. Lots of racing still left to go, and Craig Lutz, though, he is on top of all of them tonight as he settles in to victory lane and will have the opportunity to celebrate with his team for an outstanding drive and great work by the crew on pit road with efficient pit stops throughout the night.
Certainly was the story. Pit stops, a lot of speed, a lot of talent, and there were so many different individuals. Congratulations goes to him in victory lane, about ready to get out of the car as well.
Let's go down to victory lane and hear from our race winner, Craig Lutz.
Here he is, race fans, climbing out of the car down in Mobile One victory lane. One more time, make some noise for your winner, Craig Lutz.
All the guys at the shop, Doug Ojiko, all the, Russell, everyone who takes it to get these cars here, they worked really hard. We've been struggling the last couple of weeks, but unloaded a good car, and that's a huge part. And was confident all day. First part of the race there was just trying to manage and knowing that there wasn't going to be too many cautions here. So trying to stay up to date with them on how the car's feeling throughout the runs, and coming in early to take those tires ultimately put us in the position to be where we were. So we took our final change set there, fired off a little tight. Those guys got away from me, but it started coming in when it mattered. Just can't thank everyone else who supports us. Russell, Jeff Godell, Riverhead Building Supply, every single one behind me. My brother was a huge part of making the calls. One of my best friends, Barb, came up here to change tires. Toby, John, Ralph, every single person that it takes to get here. Sean for keeping everyone in line. My spotter, Brian Nardici, did a hell of a job. And all my friends and family, my fiance watching at home, everybody, takes a lot to do this.
Okay, closing laps. Okay, you see Austin Beers ahead of you. Okay, you're hunting him down. You got Justin Bonsignor in between you guys. Take me through those last few laps, because that was a crazy one, and you really had to go big game hunting.
Yeah, you never give up. You just keep fighting to the end. We fired off snug there, and I'm like, man, this is, when we needed it, it wasn't there. I was like, God damn it. But either way, it was going good. And then finally, they started falling off when we were picking up at the right time, and I think the best strategy and the best car won tonight. So I'm just awesome day overall. Turn our season around and try to end it off strong.
Well, tell me about this, because you get the win at North Wilkesboro, you get the win at Richmond. This is like you're going for the big wins. Money Matt has that nickname, but you're maybe like the big game hunter.
Hey, I would love to have that title. Something about we have a couple different designs, and we bring this white car south that always seems to run good. But also can't thank David Lewis from Robert Yates for the awesome horsepower. All the product sponsors that get us here, and everyone who has a part in this deal.
All right, Craig Lutz, his 6th career win on the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour, now picking the Hoosier draw for the free tire. So whoever finished 14th tonight in this race will get a free tire. And the way the attrition was here, Kyle Bonsignor, the winner of that. But hey, big congratulations to Craig Lutz and this Long Island-based team for scoring the big win here at Richmond.
Well, thank you, Matt. Craig Lutz, 6th win of his career, and you heard what he said there, the opportunity just to turn it around, turn that season around. A strong start early in the year, a little slump in the summer, but that 46 team, they are back.
They sure are, and we saw that each and every circuit. Amazing run, and of course back in the winner's circle on 2 of the biggest stages, and this guy has done it both.
So Craig Lutz, the winner here tonight. Austin Beers settled for 2nd, Patrick Emmerling, Trevor Catalano, Corey LaJoie the top 5, Tony Hirschman, Justin Bonsignor still 1 lap down in 7th, Ryan Preece, Eric Goodale, Stephen Kopsick. That is the top 10. But lots of racing still left to come here in the 2025 season. Oswego Speedway, Labor Day weekend on August 30th, then off to Riverhead Raceway, the Bull Ring on Long Island.
Then we go to New Hampshire in September on the 20th. Thompson Speedway Motorsports Park, October 12th. And the crowning of a champion at Martinsville Speedway on October 23rd.
Thursday night event there as it leads into the penultimate race of the 2025 season for the NASCAR National Series. The trucks Xfinity and Cup Series that weekend at Martinsville Speedway. A big way to end for the modifieds, and a Martinsville grandfather clock on the line, and a championship battle that no doubt is going to go right down to the wire. Well, tonight we saw a little bit of everything. Strategy, good pit work, a fast car, and Trevor Catalano there in that midsection led the second most laps, in Austin Beers at the end, who almost got that second win, but instead it was Craig Lutz.
Sure did. We saw drama. Unfortunately, Ryan Newman, who spun on a restart. And we saw elements, cars coming like LaJoie from the back to get to the front. It had it all, every ingredient of success, drama, and surprise. I guess that's why they call it the Virginia is for Racing Lovers 150.
Let's go back downstairs and hear from our second place finisher, Austin Beers. He's standing by with Matt Dillner.
Austin Beers, a second place finish. That was a wild one. You had the lead right at the end, and Lutz just hunted you down. You just couldn't hold him off.
Yeah, we had a really good restart, and I was able to go from 5th to 1st there and lead for a while and try to keep Justin behind me in case the yellow did come out. He had to be the lucky dog then, but then, we just tightened up over in 3 and 4, and that kind of killed our tires. Towards the end, I lost drive, and I knew Craig was coming. He was hunting me like a shark. So, just a good day for us, good points day. Congrats to the 46 Buncher, a good group of people, and I just can't thank Whelen Motorsports, Electric, Fast Track, Electric Corp, everybody on this car for everything they do. Good points day is the big thing, but at one point in this race, you were a lap down, and like, what the heck? The fact that you finished second, I mean, based off of that. Yeah, for sure. I was driving really hard to keep Justin behind me in case for the lucky dog, and it was comforting knowing that Patrick and Justin were both a lap down with me, or else I probably would have been a head case in the car there for a while. But yeah, just another good points day for us. We'll go on Oswego, I believe, and try to go win there. All right, Austin Beers padding that points lead over Justin Bonsignor. We got a third place finisher. Look, all I have to do is slide down the wall here to talk to you, buddy. Patrick Emmerling, a tough, hard-fought battle. We were just talking about all three of you guys were a lap down, the big guys in the point standings. Did you think you'd finish third at that point in the race?
That was just a really interesting one. Yeah. I mean, we, we're pretty good at coming from the back, right? So
yeah, last week at Thompson.
Super strange. I mean, all top three cars running. We were on the same strategy, and we all had the same game plan, right? And who would have thought? This race usually doesn't run after that first caution. It normally doesn't run like that. So that was just we got caught with our pants down there, and then we had to really battle back, and we just got a little lucky on that restart, and was able to get the lucky dog versus Justin. And it was just a really interesting night. We had a really good car. Ran top three, and we were able to battle our way back up there. I got to thank Fleetworks, Middlesex Interior, and this is a 2-race-old LFR car. Won the first night out, and I'd like to thank this whole Fleetworks #1 team. Pretty awesome comeback, so we had a lot of fun.
Hey, it's got to feel good, especially after that pucker of the spin on the backstretch.
Yeah, we had so many laps on these tires, and there's a car underneath me and just got out of the grip and just couldn't hang on. So that was a weird one.
A great recovery and a strong third place finish for this upstate New York driver, Patrick Emmerling. A good run for the #1.
Well, thank you, Matt. You got the words there of the top two, and there's the top one right there. His second win of the season, victorious for Craig Lutz. Well earned, well deserved, and just a hard fought, clean racing throughout. And it was just a very, very good, solid modified race tonight.
It certainly was. And there was great action wherever you looked in the event. But up front, the change of command was just unbelievable. And these guys here were the best of the best tonight. And, of course, they will celebrate as tonight's winner in the victory photos as well. I think there's so many other side stories, too. Trevor Catalano, he finished in the 4th position. But what a run for that youngster. And we talked about LaJoie coming all the way from the back of the pack. Matt Hirschman finished 6th. He hung around in that 5th and 6th position, Joe. He was close, but he wasn't able to complete the mission today.
He stayed on the lead lap when it mattered to allow him to finish inside the top 6. You can't say enough about Trevor Catalano. He had the best car going away. Who knows what would have happened there with 50 laps still left to go on old tires. We heard Patrick Emmerling talk about how with the old tires they just didn't have the grip. We were likely to have another caution regardless. And Trevor Catalano still came home 4th, but I think those troubles on pit lane got them a little back on traffic. They lost the race lead, and that might have been the deciding factor for the 56.
Of course, Priest was back in the 8th position. Goodale came on strong to finish in the top 10 in 9th. And rounding out the top 10 as a rookie was Steven Kopsick.
Well, an outstanding event so far here, and still a lot of racing left to go for the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. It started with victory for Craig Lutz here tonight. Climbs out of the race car victorious, and it has just been one of those nights to remember here in Richmond. Next up, August 30th, Labor Day weekend, Oswego Speedway, where the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour continues their championship chase. Thanks for joining us tonight on Flow Racing from Richmond Raceway, the Modifieds.